You walk into a room. You look around. You scan the faces. You're doing it unconsciously, but you're doing it. You're checking to see who's watching you. You're checking to see who matters. You're looking for the nod, the smile, the little hit of dopamine that tells you, I exist. I am safe. I am part of the tribe. And then you see him. He's in the same room, but he isn't occupying the same reality. He isn't scanning. He isn't looking for eye contact. He isn't checking his phone to see if anyone liked his last post. He is sitting there in absolute, terrifying stillness. He doesn't need the room to acknowledge him. And that terrified feeling you get in your gut when you look at him, that is your biology recognizing a threat. Because the most dangerous man in the world isn't the one screaming for attention. It isn't the one with the loudest voice or the biggest muscles. The most dangerous man is the one who is completely, utterly okay with being alone. Society has lied to you about what dangerous means. They told you danger is aggression. They told you danger is violence. But real danger, strategic, systemic danger, is autonomy. Think about the last time you tried to make a decision. A real decision. You wanted to quit the job. You wanted to move cities. You wanted to burn the bridge. But you didn't. Why? Because you had to run it by someone. You had to ask your partner. You had to think about your parents. You had to consider what your friends would say at the next dinner party. You were tethered. You were safe because you were controlled by your attachments. Now look at the man who prefers to be alone. He is dangerous because he cannot be leveraged. You can't threaten him with social ostracization because he's already walked away from the campfire. You can't manipulate him with validation because he sources his self-worth from his own internal production. You can't guilt him with obligation because he has cut the cords that bind him to the collective weakness. This is exactly why the most dangerous men prefer to be alone. It isn't because they are sad. It isn't because they are antisocial. It is because they understand a fundamental law of power that you are too afraid to admit. Connection is friction. Every relationship you have is a tax. It is a tax on your time. It is a tax on your mental energy. It is a tax on your focus. You wake up in the morning with a vision of what you want to conquer. You have the plan. You have the fire. And then the phone buzzes. Can you pick this up? We need to talk. Why are you being so distant? My mother is coming over this weekend. And just like that, the empire you were building in your mind collapses. The energy you were going to pour into your dominance is now being siphoned off to manage the emotional state of another human being. You are not a king. You are a customer service representative for the people in your life. The dangerous man looked at this equation and he rejected it. He realized that to rule his own world, he had to evict the tenants. He understood that you cannot maximize your output if you are constantly managing the input of others. When you see a man who eats alone, who travels alone, who lives without the clutter of a support network, you assume something is wrong with him. You project your own fear of silence onto him. You think, he must be lonely. Pause. He isn't lonely. He is efficient. He is in a state of deep, uninterrupted calculation. While you are spending 3 hours discussing feelings and navigating the petty politics of your social circle, he has read 3 books. While you are compromising on your life goals to keep a partner happy, he has doubled his net worth. While you are waiting for permission, he has already taken the territory. This is the uncomfortable truth about why the most dangerous men prefer to be alone. They have done the math. They have realized that the modern definition of a healthy life, the wife, the kids, the Sunday dinners, the endless obligations, is actually a softness. It is a cage lined with velvet. It keeps you docile. It keeps you tired. It keeps you from becoming the monster you were capable of becoming. You fear solitude because in the silence, you have to face yourself. You have to face your mediocrity. You have to hear the thoughts you've been drowning out with chatter and noise. He craves the silence, because in the silence, he hears the future. He plans the takeover. He sharpens the blade. He prefers to be alone because he is building something that requires absolute, totalitarian focus. And he knows that the moment he lets you in, the moment he lets anyone in, the vision gets diluted. The speed slows down. The edge gets dull. He is dangerous because he doesn't need you. And in a world of needy, desperate, validation-seeking children, the man who needs nothing is the man who can take everything. Let's talk about the interference. You have been sold a very specific, very cinematic lie. It's the lie that says you can have it all. The lie that paints a picture of the great man sitting at the head of a long table, surrounded by a loving wife, adoring children, and proud parents, all while he runs a billion-dollar empire. You see the photo op. You see the Christmas card. But you don't see the reality of the Tuesday morning. Here is the truth that the most dangerous men know, and the average men are too afraid to admit. Other people are entropy. Entropy is the gradual decline into disorder. It is the loss of energy in a system. And every single person you allow into your inner circle, every girlfriend, every wife, every child, every demanding parent, is a leak in your fuel tank. Picture this. You are in the zone. You have finally found that elusive state of flow. The world has melted away. You are writing the code that will change your industry, or you are structuring the deal that will double your net worth. Your brain is firing at maximum capacity. You are a god in this moment. And then, the door opens. It's not an emergency. It's never an emergency. Hey, have you seen the blue towel? Babe, are you listening to me? Mom is on the phone. She wants to say hi. Snap. The flow is gone. The God mode evaporates. You are dragged out of the stratosphere and slammed back down into the mundane, gray concrete of domesticity. You turn your head. You force a smile. You answer the question about the towel. But the damage is done. It takes 20 minutes to get back into that state of deep focus. If that happens 3 times a day, you have lost an hour of genius. Over a year, you have lost weeks. Over a lifetime, you have lost your legacy. The dangerous man looks at this dynamic, and he sees it for what it is: sabotage. It isn't malicious sabotage. Your wife doesn't mean to destroy your empire. Your parents don't mean to clip your wings with their guilt trips. Your children don't mean to drain your bank account and your sleep. They do it because they love you. And that is why it is so lethal. If an enemy tried to interrupt you, you would destroy them. You would lock the door. You would fight back. But when love interrupts you, you are conditioned to submit. You are conditioned to say, "It's okay." The dangerous man prefers to be alone because he refuses to submit to the interference. He understands that high-performance machinery cannot tolerate friction, and relationships are nothing but friction. They are a constant negotiation. Where do you want to eat? Why didn't you text me back? We need to go to my sister's wedding this weekend. Think about the sheer cognitive load required to maintain a relationship. You have to remember anniversaries. You have to read body language. You have to anticipate emotional needs. You have to de-escalate conflicts that you didn't even start. That is brain power. That is raw processing cycles. The dangerous man says, "I need those cycles for the mission." He looks at the family man, and he doesn't see a king. He sees a man running a race with a parachute strapped to his back. The family man is tired. He is worried about the mortgage because the kids need private school. He is worried about his wife's mood because if she's unhappy, his life is hell. He is worried about his parents' approval because he never grew out of being a good boy. The dangerous man has cut the parachute. He doesn't have to negotiate his Saturday. If he wants to work for 18 hours straight because the market is moving, he does it. He doesn't have to explain himself. He doesn't have to apologize for his ambition. He doesn't have to come home and switch off to be present for people who don't understand the war he is fighting. This is the cold, hard economic reality of the apex male. He maximizes productivity by minimizing the variables. A wife is a variable. A girlfriend is a variable. Children are chaos incarnate. Parents are historical baggage. When you eliminate the variables, you are left with a constant, your will. You become a closed system of perfect efficiency. Every dollar you make stays in the war chest. Every hour you have is invested in the skill. Every thought you think is directed at the target. You think he's missing out on intimacy? Perhaps. But while you are cuddling on the couch watching Netflix, compromising on your dreams to keep the peace, he is buying the production company. He is rewriting the laws of his industry. He is becoming a force of nature. He knows that you cannot serve two masters. You cannot serve the comfortable, domestic God of family and the ruthless, demanding God of greatness at the same time. One of them has to die. Most men kill their greatness to save their family. The dangerous man kills the family, metaphorically and sometimes literally in terms of absence, to save his greatness. He prefers to be alone because he knows that in the Olympics of power, the solo runner always has the lane to himself. He isn't waiting for the baton pass. He is just running. Fast. And he doesn't look back to see who he left behind. You think multitasking is a myth. You've read the productivity books. You've listened to the podcasts where soft-spoken experts tell you to focus on one thing at a time. They tell you that the human brain can't handle multiple complex streams of information. They are lying to you. Or, to be more accurate, they are telling you the truth about your brain. The brain that is constantly under siege. But for the man who has severed the tethers, the man who has chosen the silence, the rules of cognitive physics change. The most dangerous man prefers to be alone because he is not building a business. He is building an ecosystem. He is the architect of a multiplex mind. Look at what he does in a single day. He is trading the markets. He is overseeing the logistics of a supply chain. He is learning a new language. He is actively restructuring his body in the gym. He is doing all of this simultaneously. That's impossible, you say. He'll burn out. Wrong. He doesn't burn out because he doesn't have to code switch. Think about your day. You try to start a side hustle. You sit down to write the business plan. You get 10 minutes of work done. Then your girlfriend walks in. Now you have to switch from CEO mode to boyfriend mode. You have to soften your face. You have to change your tone. You have to listen to a story about her coworker named Sarah. Then your mom calls. Now you are in son mode. You have to be deferential. You have to be patient. Then your buddy texts you about the game. Bro mode. Every time you switch modes, you pay a cognitive tax. You leak horsepower. By the time you get back to the business plan, you are exhausted. You aren't tired from the work. You are tired from the identity shifting. You are tired from wearing 10 different masks in the span of an hour. The dangerous man wears one face. The face of the king. Because he is alone, he never has to leave conqueror mode. He doesn't have to soften up. He doesn't have to de-escalate. He stays in the red zone of aggression and productivity from the moment he wakes up until the moment he sleeps. This allows him to stack victories. While you are struggling to manage one job and one relationship, He is managing 3 revenue streams. He has the mental bandwidth to see the connections that you miss. He sees how the geopolitics affects his supply chain, which affects his currency trade. He sees the matrix. You can't see the matrix because you're too busy looking for the remote control for your wife. This is why he creates wealth at a speed that seems suspicious to you. You look at him and whisper, "He must be lucky," or "He must be doing something illegal." No, he is just operating without drag. Imagine a race car. Now imagine that race car towing a caravan, a boat, and a trailer full of furniture. That's you. You might have a V12 engine, but you are towing the weight of your social obligations. The dangerous man is the Formula One car on the stripped track. No passengers, no luggage, just engine and aerodynamics. He can do multiple things. He must do multiple things because his energy has nowhere else to go. He doesn't spend energy fighting about whose turn it is to do the dishes because there is only his dish. He doesn't spend energy navigating the emotional minefield of a family dinner because he eats when he is hungry, not when the clock says it's family time. This solitude allows him to rule his own world completely. In your world, you are a co-president. You are a vice chairman. You have to lobby for your decisions. You have to get the votes. "Honey, I was thinking we could invest in this." "Dad, I'm thinking about changing careers." You are asking for permission to run your own life. In his world, he is the dictator. He wakes up and decides to pivot the entire strategy. Done. He decides to liquidate an asset and buy another. Done. He decides to fly to a new city to scout a location. Done. There is no committee meeting. There is no veto power. There is only the instantaneous translation of thought into action. This is the state of the multiplex mind. It creates a terrifying level of competence. While you are debating, he is executing. While you are compromising, he is conquering. He isn't just productive. He is prolific. He is generating output on a scale that you can't comprehend because you are viewing life through the lens of a man who has to stop working at 5 p.m. to go to a parent-teacher conference. He wants to rule his world. And the first rule of ruling a world is simple. There can only be one sovereign. As long as you have partners in life, in love, in emotional debt, you are not a king. You are just a politician. And politicians don't change the world. They just argue until they die. The dangerous man is done arguing. He is too busy winning on 3 different fronts to hear your complaints. This isn't just lifestyle advice. This is philosophy in action. It's psychology weaponized. If you want to understand the architecture of the dangerous man's mind, you have to understand the German philosopher Arthur Schopenhauer. Schopenhauer told a story about porcupines in the winter. The porcupines were cold. They huddled together for warmth. But when they got close, their quills stabbed each other. The pain forced them apart, but then the cold forced them back together. They were trapped in a miserable cycle, freezing alone or stabbing each other. Most men are the porcupines who choose the stabbing. They would rather bleed from the quills of a bad marriage, a draining friendship, or a suffocating family than face the cold of the void. They tolerate the pain of togetherness because they are terrified of the temperature of aloneness. The dangerous man is different. He is the porcupine who grew a coat of fur. He adapted to the cold. He realized that the warmth of others wasn't worth the wounds. This is the psychological foundation of his power. He has rewired his dopamine reward system. Your brain is wired for the tribe. It's evolutionary. 10,000 years ago, if you were alone, you were dead. A saber-toothed tiger would eat you. So your brain screams, be liked, fit in, Find a mate. Don't be cast out. Anxiety is just your ancestors yelling at you to get back in the cave. The dangerous man has hacked this outdated software. He has overridden the biological imperative. He doesn't get a dopamine hit from a like. He gets a dopamine hit from a result. He doesn't feel safe when he is surrounded by people. He feels exposed. He feels safe when he is behind the walls of his own fortress, surrounded by his assets, his books, and his plans. Nietzsche called this the path of the creator. He said that the creator must be a law unto himself. To create something new, a new business, a new philosophy, a new life, you have to destroy the old values. And who holds the old values? The tribe, the family, the wife, the parents. They are the guardians of the status quo. They want you to be normal. Why do you work so hard? Why can't you just be happy? Why do you have to be so intense? The dangerous man hears these questions and realizes they are the questions of sheep asking the wolf why he has teeth. He understands that his psychology is fundamentally incompatible with the good life as defined by society. He is not seeking happiness. Happiness is cheap. Happiness is a warm puppy and a cold beer. He is seeking meaning. He is seeking power. He is seeking impact. And he knows that these things are forged in the dark. Think about a photographer developing film. It has to happen in the darkroom. If you open the door and let the light in too early, you ruin the image. The dangerous man's mind is a darkroom. He is developing a vision of the future that no one else can see yet. If he lets the light of public opinion or family obligation in too early, the vision is destroyed. So he locks the door. He becomes comfortable with the monk mode that drives average men to therapy. You panic when you have a free Sunday with no plans. You feel the itch to text someone. You feel bored. He never feels bored. How can he be bored when he is building a kingdom in his head? He uses solitude as an incubator. In that silence, his thoughts stop being reactive and start being generative. Most people just react. They react to the news. They react to their spouse. They react to the traffic. They are pinballs bouncing around a machine they don't control. The dangerous man stops bouncing. He holds the ball. He looks at the table. And he decides where to shoot. This requires a level of psychological hardness that is rare. It requires the ability to look at your own mother and say, "I love you, but I cannot obey you." It requires the ability to look at a beautiful woman and say, "I want you, but I will not need you." It is the psychology of the sovereign. A sovereign does not have peers. He has allies, perhaps. He has subjects, certainly. But he does not have equals who can veto his decrees. He accepts the tragedy of his position. Heavy is the head that wears the crown. But he prefers the weight of the crown to the weight of the chains. He prefers to be alone because he has realized that the only person who can truly understand the mission is the commander of the mission, and he is done trying to explain color to the blind. Let's talk about the math, the brutal, unforgiving arithmetic of your life. You have been taught that generosity is a virtue. You have been taught that the measure of a man is how well he provides for others. You are the provider. You are the safety net. You are the wallet that never closes. And that is why you are broke. Not just financially broke, energetically broke. The most dangerous man prefers to be alone because he has discovered the secret of the resource feedback loop. Look at where your money goes. Seriously, look at the bank statement. The mortgage for the house that is too big just to impress the in-laws. The tuition for the school that the kids hate. The vacation you didn't want to take, but you had to make memories. The endless stream of gifts, dinners, and helping out friends who are struggling. You are a distribution center. You take resources in, and you immediately ship them out to everyone else. Your retention rate is 0. You are running a charity, not an empire. Now look at the dangerous man. He spends on himself only. When you hear that, your programming kicks in. You think, what a greedy narcissist. You picture him buying gold watches and champagne while orphans starve. Pause. That's the loser's definition of spending. He isn't spending on luxury. He is spending on leverage. He isn't buying toys. He is buying capability. He takes that same $5,000 you spend on a family trip to Disney World, and he hires a specialized performance coach. He takes the money you spent on your girlfriend's new car, and he pours it into a high-risk, high-reward ad campaign for his business. He takes the money you lend to your deadbeat brother, and he buys the highest quality food, the best supplements, the best sleep technology. He treats his mind and body like a Formula One engine. You treat yours like a rental car. This is the feedback loop. He invests in himself dash. He becomes sharper, faster, stronger dash. He makes more money dash. He invests that money back into himself. It is exponential. It compounds. While you are debating with your wife about whether you can afford to fix the roof, he is scaling. While you are worried about your parents' retirement fund, he is building a war chest so large that he could buy the retirement home. He wants to rule his own world, and you cannot rule a world if your treasury is empty. He understands that capital is power, and in a relationship, capital is shared. What's yours is mine, baby. That is the sound of your power evaporating. The moment you merge finances, you merge destinies. You can no longer move with speed. You have to justify every expense. Why do you need a $2,000 course on negotiation? She asks. Why are you spending so much on steak? She asks. You have to explain the ROI to someone who doesn't understand the business model. You have to ask a civilian for permission to buy ammunition. The dangerous man refuses to explain. He keeps his resources in a silo. 100% retained earnings. This allows him to take risks that would terrify a family man. He can bet the farm because he is the only one living on the farm. If he fails, he starves alone. He can handle that. But you? You can't bet the farm because you have mouths to feed. Your love has made you risk-averse. Your responsibilities have made you a coward. He spends on himself because he knows that he is the golden goose. If the goose is healthy, if the goose is strong, if the goose is protected, it will lay golden eggs forever. But society tells you to kill the goose to feed the village. Sacrifice yourself for your family. Give until it hurts. He refuses to hurt. He refuses to sacrifice the engine of production. He maximizes his productivity and his money by closing the borders. No foreign aid. No subsidies for the weak. Just pure, unadulterated reinvestment in the only asset that matters, his own potential. He is the king of his world because he owns everything in it. He hasn't diluted his equity. He holds 100% of the shares in himself incorporated. And when you look at the disparity between his life and yours, the freedom he has versus the obligations you drown in, you realize that his selfishness was actually the smartest investment strategy in history. You need a mentor. You need a coach. You need to listen to your elders. This is the first thing they tell you when you show a spark of ambition. They try to put a leash on you. They call it guidance. But let's be honest about what it really is. It is control. It is the domestication of the wild animal. The most dangerous man prefers to be alone because he has killed the concept of the guru. He doesn't want anyone to guide him. Read that again. He does not want to be led. He looks at the wisdom of the older generation, his parents, his bosses, the so-called experts, and he sees fear disguised as experience. Your parents tell you to play it safe because they are terrified of your potential failure. They guide you toward the middle, toward the steady job, toward the 401k. They guide you toward the life they understand, not the life you are capable of living. To the dangerous man, this advice is poison. It is outdated software trying to run on new hardware. Why would he ask for directions from people who have never been where he is going? He is the king of his own world. And a king does not ask the villagers how to rule. Think about the last time you asked for advice. Hey, what do you think about this business idea? Do you think I should break up with her? Am I crazy for wanting this? You are begging for validation. You are begging for someone else to stamp your passport and say, yes, you are allowed to go there. You are outsourcing the responsibility of the decision. If it goes wrong, you can say, well, my mentor said. The dangerous man accepts the terrifying reality that he is the highest authority in his universe. He trusts his own intuition over the collective intelligence of the herd. When the herd zigs, he zags. Not because someone told him to, but because he feels the shift in the wind. If he listened to a guide, he would be part of the herd. To lead the pack, you have to turn your back on it. This is why he is unguidable. This is why he is a nightmare for bosses. He doesn't want feedback. He doesn't want a performance review. He doesn't want to be managed. He looks at the boss and thinks, I don't want to be you. So why would I listen to you? He is unmanageable because he has already managed himself. He has set standards for himself that are higher than anything a boss could demand. He wakes up earlier. He works harder. He demands more perfection. When you try to guide a man like that, you are just getting in his way. You are a speed bump on his autobahn. This absolute rejection of guidance is what makes him a sovereign. In the old world, the king answered only to God. In the modern world, the dangerous man answers only to his future self. He creates his own map. Every time you follow someone else's path, you are walking in their shadow. You are seeing the world they wanted you to see. He wants to see the raw, unfiltered truth. He wants to make his own mistakes. He wants the scars, because the scars are the data. If you save him from the mistake, you rob him of the lesson. He doesn't want your safety net. He wants the high wire. This is why he spends his time alone. When you are alone, there are no voices telling you no. There are no voices saying, be careful. There is only the voice of the ambition saying, go. He clears the interference so he can hear the signal. He is the captain of the ship, and he has thrown the radio overboard. He isn't calling for help. He isn't checking in with the control tower. He is sailing into the storm because he knows that on the other side of the storm is the new world. And he knows that if he had listened to the guides, he would still be safe in the harbor, rotting away like the rest of you. You think he is a robot. You think he has surgically removed his heart. You look at his stoicism and you assume he feels nothing. You are wrong. He feels. He has the same biology as you. He has the same testosterone driving him toward women. He has the same oxytocin receptors that crave a bond. He is not a machine. He is a man. But unlike you, he is a man operating behind a military-grade firewall. This is the emotional firewall. The most dangerous man prefers to be alone because he treats his emotional state like a high-security server. He knows that emotions are the primary vector for malware. Think about how you operate. You meet someone. You like them. And immediately, you lower the drawbridge. You let them in. You give them the admin passwords to your mood. If she texts you back, you are happy. If she acts distant, you are anxious. If she criticizes you, you are depressed. You have handed the remote control of your nervous system to a stranger. You have made your internal stability dependent on an external variable. The dangerous man looks at this dynamic and sees a security breach. He engages with the world, yes. He deals with women, yes. But he operates on a strict policy of zero-trust architecture. He allows connection, but he does not allow infiltration. He views relationships as transactions, not entanglements. This triggers you. You scream, "Love shouldn't be transactional." Grow up. Everything is transactional. Even your mother's love comes with the transaction of you being a good son. The dangerous man just admits it. He interacts with people the way a sovereign nation interacts with tourists. You are welcome to visit. You are welcome to enjoy the scenery. We can have a great time. But you are on a temporary visa. You do not get citizenship. You do not get to vote on the laws of the land. And if you break the rules, you are deported immediately. There is no drama. There is no long, drawn-out negotiation. There is just the border patrol enforcing the boundary. Because he has no citizens in his head, no wife with veto power, no parents with guilt trips, he maintains absolute emotional sovereignty. This creates the aura of the untouchable. When you are in a relationship where you need them more than they need you, you are weak. You are grasping. You are needy. But when you are the man who is perfectly content to walk away at any second, you are terrifying. He holds the ultimate leverage, the ability to be alone. If a woman threatens to leave him, he doesn't panic. He doesn't beg. He doesn't promise to change. He says, "Okay." And he means it. He goes back to his work. He goes back to his mission. He sleeps like a baby that night. This isn't psychopathy. It is priority. He loves his mission more than he could ever love a person. He loves his freedom more than he could ever love comfort. You call this intimacy issues. He calls it operational security. He knows that the moment he becomes emotionally dependent on another human being, he has created a weakness that can be exploited. History is full of great men who were brought down not by armies, but by their need for a specific woman, or their inability to say no to a child, or their desperate need for their father's approval. The dangerous man closes that vulnerability. He enjoys the company of others the way one enjoys a fine wine. It is a pleasure. It is nice to have. But he does not need it to survive. He does not need it to function. If the wine runs out, he drinks water and keeps building. He refuses to let anyone interfere because interference implies that they have the right to disrupt his frequency. They don't. He broadcasts. He does not receive. He is the signal. Everyone else is noise. And his firewall is designed to do one thing: keep the signal pure. Keep the noise out. So while you are riding the emotional roller coaster of your relationships, up one day, down the next, exhausted always, he is on the steady, flat line of the ascent. He is calm. He is collected. He is dangerous. Because you can't hurt a man who doesn't need you to heal him. This is the paradox that drives the average man insane. You spend your whole life trying to be accessible. You answer texts instantly. You say yes to every invite. You try to be the guy everyone can count on. And what do you get? You get friend-zoned. You get overlooked for the promotion. You get treated like furniture. You are reliable, and therefore, you are invisible. Now look at the dangerous man. He is a ghost. He is hard to reach. He rarely shows up. He doesn't answer the phone. He is alone, and the world is obsessed with him. This is Act 8, the aura of the untouchable. The most dangerous man prefers to be alone because he understands the first law of value. Scarcity creates demand. It is basic economics. If there is too much supply of a currency, inflation hits, and the currency becomes worthless. Your attention is a currency. When you spray it around like a fire hose, giving it to your girlfriend, your mom, your boss, your college buddies, you are printing money. You are devaluing yourself. You are hyperinflating your own worth until it hits zero. The dangerous man treats his attention like gold bullion. He keeps it in the vault. Because he is alone, because he is locked in his mission, his presence is rare. And because it is rare, when he finally does give you 5 minutes of his time, you feel like you won the lottery. Watch what happens when he walks into a room. He doesn't have to say anything. The fact that he is there is the event. People think he's usually so busy. He must really value this. He has engineered respect simply by being unavailable. He isn't playing hard to get. That's a game for teenagers. He is hard to get. He is actually busy. He is actually building an empire. He actually prefers his own company. This creates a vacuum. Human nature abhors a vacuum. When you pull away, people lean in. What is he thinking? What is he doing? Why doesn't he need me? His silence is a mirror. When he doesn't validate you, you are forced to look at yourself. And that makes you crave his validation even more. The women want him because they can't control him. They want to be the one to crack the code. They want to be the one to breach the walls. The investors want him because he doesn't seem desperate for their money. The world chases him because he is running away from the world. This is the power of the sovereign. A king does not walk through the market square every day shaking hands. He stays in the castle. He stays separated. The separation creates the mystique. The mystique creates the power. You think you are being nice by being available. You are actually being common. You are the tap water, freely available, unappreciated, taken for granted. He is the spring water found only at the top of the mountain. You have to climb to get it. You have to bleed to get it. And that is why it tastes so sweet. He prefers to be alone because isolation allows him to control the supply of himself. He is not a public utility. He is a private asset. And here is the dark truth about why he is so dangerous. He is the only one in the interaction who is willing to walk away. In any negotiation, the person who cares the least holds the most power. Because he has built a life of solitude, because he is his own best company, he never needs the deal. He never needs the girl. He never needs the approval. He can look at the offer, shrug, and go back to his cave. That terrified pause you see in the other person's eyes, that is them realizing they have no leverage. They can't threaten him with loneliness. He lives there. It's his home court. While you are terrified of being left alone, he is terrified of being dragged down. And the world respects the man who protects his altitude. You are nodding your head. You are listening to this and thinking, yes, that's me. I'm the dangerous man. I'm the lone wolf. Stop. Look at your hand. Is your phone in it? Did you check a notification in the last 10 minutes? If your mother called right now, would you answer? If your girlfriend texted, "We need to talk," would your stomach drop? You are not the dangerous man. You are the domesticated animal dreaming of the forest while eating from the bowl. This is the part where we hold up the mirror. And you are not going to like the reflection. You claim you want to rule your own world. You claim you want the money, the power, the freedom. But your actions tell a different story. Your actions say that you are desperate to be a good employee, a good son, a good partner, a good citizen. You are addicted to the leash. Deep down, you don't really want to be alone. Because if you were alone, truly alone, you would have no excuses left. Right now, you can blame your mediocrity on your obligations. I could have started that business, but the kids take up so much time. I could have gotten in shape, but my wife loves to cook heavy meals. I could have traveled, but my parents are getting old. You use your relationships as a shield. You hide behind your selflessness. You tell yourself you are a martyr. Look at how much I sacrifice for others. No, you are not a martyr. You are a coward. You surround yourself with noise because the silence judges you. When you are alone, really alone, there is no one to perform for. There is just you and the gap between who you are and who you could be. And that gap is terrifying. So you text a friend. You scroll Instagram. You fill the void with other people's lives so you don't have to build your own. The dangerous man cut the cord because he had the courage to face the void. You keep the cord because you need the voltage of other people's approval to feel alive. You are the one who teaches people to disrespect your time. You answer the phone on the first ring. You reply to the email at 11 p.m. You cancel your gym session because your friend is going through a tough time. You are training the world to treat you like a convenience store. Open 24/7. Cheap. Accessible. And then you have the audacity to wonder why you aren't the king. Kings are not accessible. Kings do not apologize for having boundaries. You are participating in your own enslavement. Every time you say yes, when you want to say no, you are tightening the chain. Every time you ask for permission, you are handing over your crown. Let's look at your future if you don't change. Fast forward 20 years. You were a good man. You were always there for everyone. You went to every birthday party. You listened to every problem. You compromised on every dream to keep the peace. And now you are old. You are tired. You are broke, maybe not financially, but spiritually. You look back at your life and you realize it wasn't your life. It was a collage of other people's demands. You lived your wife's life. You lived your parents' life. You lived your boss's life. You were a supporting character in your own movie. The dangerous man will die with enemies. He will die with critics. He might even die alone. But he will die knowing that he squeezed every ounce of potential out of his soul. He will die knowing he built a monument, not just a maintenance schedule for others. You have a choice coming. It is approaching fast. You can keep being the nice guy. You can keep being the family man who sacrifices his ambition on the altar of mediocrity. You can keep looking for a guide, or you can kill the boy who needs to be liked. You think the dangerous man is cold? No. What's cold is looking in the mirror at 60 years old and realizing you set yourself on fire to keep everyone else warm, and all you have left is ash. You are complicit. The cage is not locked. It never was. You are just holding the door shut because you are scared of the walk outside. Here is the final choice. The video is about to end. The silence is about to break. And you are about to face the most important moment of your day. The screen will go black. And in that black screen, you will see your own reflection. At that moment, you have a binary choice. It is option A or option B. There is no middle ground. There is no negotiation. Option A, you go back. You pick up the phone. You check the notifications. You see that you missed a text from your girlfriend, or your mom, or that group chat that drains your IQ every time you open it. You feel that little spike of anxiety. I should reply. I should apologize. You slide back into the warm bath of mediocrity. You go back to being the good guy. You go back to the interference. You will have a nice life. You will have the Christmas dinners. You will have the anniversary parties. You will have the approval of the tribe. People will say, he was a good man. He was always there for us. And you will be buried in a grave full of unfulfilled potential. You will be a battery that drained itself powering everyone else's devices. You will be safe. You will be loved. And you will be utterly, completely harmless. Or Option B. You become the sovereign. You put the phone down, face down. You look at the empty room. You feel the silence. And instead of running from it, you inhale it. You realize that this silence is not empty. It is full. It is full of your power. You make the decision to ruthlessly eliminate the interference. This doesn't mean you divorce your wife today. It doesn't mean you block your mother's number. It means you erect the wall. You reclaim your time. You reclaim your mind. You stop asking for permission to exist. You tell yourself, I am not here to be guided. I am here to rule. You accept that you are the king of your own world, and a king does not seek the approval of his subjects. This path is cold. It is steep. People will call you selfish. They will call you distant. They will say you've changed. You're not the same. They will whisper. Good. You are not supposed to be the same. You are supposed to be better. You are supposed to be sharper. When you choose to be alone, you are choosing to bet on yourself. You are removing the safety net of the collective. You are saying, I don't need the herd to survive. I am the predator. This is the only way to build the empire you dream of. The multiple businesses, the massive wealth, the physical perfection. These things do not happen by accident, and they do not happen by consensus. They happen in the dark. They happen in the quiet hours when the family men are asleep and the dangerous men are working. You have to decide right now if you have the stomach for it. Do you want to be liked? Or do you want to be effective? Do you want to be a good boy? Or do you want to be a great man? The most dangerous men prefer to be alone because they know that greatness is a solo sport. The podium only has room for one. The throne only fits one. So here is the final instruction. Do not click on the next video. Do not scroll down to the comments to see what other people think. Do not look for a guide to tell you what to do next. Close the tab. Put down the device. Sit in the silence. And for the first time in your life, rule your world.